What is up, earners? Welcome back. Am I upside down right now? What is this? Sorry about that. What is up, earners? This is Matt from On Target Earnings. As the title suggests, today we're talking about how you can make your prospect sell themselves. What is this witchcraft of what you speak sell themselves? Tell me more. I'm happy to help you, odd character that I myself am playing as I sit here in my attic and record these videos. How many times have you been in an office and someone comes out of a conference room where they did a demonstration or something and they're like, they're gonna buy, I said this and I said that, I said this and I said that and I said that. And all of a sudden you ask yourself, they're talking a lot about what they said. Never give any consideration to what the prospect said. And as much as I hate to say it, because you know I think asking questions is the best way to make a sale, a big component of our job is knowing what we do as a company really, really well and talking about it. Now, of course, any good salesperson is not going to just talk about what they do in a generic form, but they're actually going to talk about what they do as it relates to what the prospect told them they are looking to do. And that is completely impossible unless you've done a really good job in discovery, which is a topic that finds its way into every single one of these videos that we make. So feel free to browse through the channel if you need help there. But a top flight salesperson, when they are actually forced to the moment where it actually makes sense to talk about what they do, talk about themselves, talk about their company, they make sure that they tie it back to what the person said they are trying to do, making it as custom as possible. And lastly, the salesperson will have to talk about at length how they feel what they just showed is actually going to equate to value for the prospect's business, for the prospect's family, etc., however the sale may be. So that's all good and well, and that's where your slightly above average salespeople start going, did I kill that demo? Oh, they are buying from us. Ugh. Now, it might be true, they may have said all the right things, but what did the prospect say? Let's say you're showing some differentiated component of what you're selling, and you know that your prospect is looking deeply at the market, and you are one of many vendors or suppliers that they're looking at. When you highlight for your prospect that this is indeed a differentiated part of your offering, how that differentiation ties into what they told you they were hoping to accomplish, therefore you highlight the value that they would receive from accomplishing the thing they told you they were hoping to accomplish, you probably are ready to give yourself a pat on the back. But this is the big moment where you become a superhuman salesperson. Instead of moving along because you said all the right things, you now need to form a new neural pathway for your client. When you want something to stick and you want your prospect to sell themselves, you need them to talk. You need the neural pathway to happen from here to here, here to here, that mind-to-mouth connection, mind-to-mouth connection. In my experience in enterprise sales, when I get my prospective customer to stop, think about what they just learned, and orate it to me, that's when they remember. As we know, the statistics are all over the place, but people forget anywhere between like 70 to 92% of everything the other person is saying. But interestingly enough, they remember almost all of what they said. So let's go back to that differentiation example. If you just differentiated yourself, tied it into their business goals, and talked about the value you think that they would get from it, stop and say, that's how I see it, but I'd love to hear from you. How would you describe what you just saw and how it would help your business? Who, what, where, why, when, TED, tell, explain, describe. In the English language, these are effectively commands. They're a really polite, professional way of saying, you speak now. So when I said, how do you see this impacting your business? Their cue is, you gotta talk now. When they say, you gotta talk now, they put down Instagram. They put down the sandwich they were eating. Maybe they even turn their camera on if this is virtual sales. And they say to themselves, inner monologue, what did I just see? Do I even like it? Will it help our business? How will it help our business? Well, can I think of an example? And the human brain is so smart, they do all of it about this fast. Fraction of a second, and then they start speaking. When they start speaking, they're going to tell you, because you've asked them to use their imagination, all the ways that they think this could help them. And then let's say they forget to talk about how it's differentiated from other things they've seen, or they forget to tie it to value. Just ask them a follow-up question. And in what ways do you think this would be valuable for the business? And I'm curious, could you just tell me how you think that's different from other things that you've seen, if at all? And again, those are commands, and you are commanding them to sell back to you. Now, what happens if you ask those command-like questions and they don't sell back to you the way that you were hoping? Good. Because then you can follow up with, I'm surprised to hear that you don't see it that way. I was thinking because of this and this. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And now you're in the place that most salespeople are afraid to even go, which is knowing exactly where you stand in their eyes. So to summarize, if you want your prospect to sell themselves, after you do that really good selling that you do, ask them a who, what, where, why, when, how, or TED question to get them to think about what they just saw and give it back to you. They'll remember everything that they said, and if they said the things you wanted them to say, they won't forget how good your product and or service is. But if you just talk all day, there's a 70 to 90% chance they're gonna forget what you said, and you're gonna wonder why they bought something else. I could have sworn I told them. You did tell them, but you didn't stop and then ask them to tell you what they just heard. Bonus, bonus, bonus. At the end of every engagement with a prospect, especially if it's an informative engagement, not like a harsh negotiation, but a time when you're still doing what we would call selling the value, it's in this meeting that at the end of that meeting, I want you to say this. You know, we covered a lot of ground today. I'm pretty confident coming out of this based on all the things that we talked about. In fact, I probably talked more than I should have, but I am curious, what did you learn today, if anything? That's a command to speak. And think, what did I learn today? And you're gonna know how well you're doing as a salesperson. If they're able to recall 2 to 4 things that you brought up that are important, you know you did a really good job. If they can struggle to barely muster just one, or they just say things like, I don't know, it was neat, it was cool. I mean, I feel like I learned stuff, like anything that's just filling the space with hot air, you know you did a bad job. And this opportunity is not going in a good place, which is fine. You can course correct, but find out where you stand. That is it, earners. If you want to get people to sell back, force them to make the neurological brain to mouth connection by using who, what, where, why, when, how, and TED questions. Whenever you make a salient point, make sure they sell that salient point back to you. They won't forget it. You'll increase the likelihood of closing way more business. As is always the case, my friends, remember sales is tough, but tough times in sales don't last. Tough salespeople do. Go out there, have a great day.